we have candidates that already have their own advisors, campaign managers, and pollsters, etc.
Of course.
What would be the advantage of having an international political consultant like you?
Look, the politics of Philippines extremely complex and lots of emotions involved, and there's never a vacuum. Every candidate, every politician has his advisors, but they're always subjective. You know, someone that did something to them 3 years ago and they want to get back at them when they have the next opportunity. The advisors who want to position themselves for a position in the next cabinet. And we come in and we don't have emotions. We have data. So what we bring to the campaign, what we bring to candidates is empirical data into their decision-making process.
When you say that you don't have emotions as an outsider coming in, are you saying that the other political advisors, especially if they have been here in the Philippines, may have an axe to grind or some emotional connection?
Yes, I don't think it's. I don't think that's a negative thing because if you live here, you care, you really care, and you have your own opinions. And for us, we are essentially guns for hire. So we come without the emotions. We make professional decisions. We're led by the data. We're led by strong numbers. And our only interest is to get our candidates elected.
That's interesting. That's why we want to hear from you, because you're an outsider looking in.
Exactly.
So you have advised more than 20 heads of states. What common strategic principles have you observed that separate winning candidates from losing ones?
So I think the most important thing is how they view their own voters. The way that we usually advise our candidates is to think of the most selfish voter out there. Candidates usually look down at the selfish voter, the voter who wakes up on election day and he asks himself, what do I get out of it? If I vote for you, what would I get out of it? And in my mind, that's the highest level a voter can ever reach. It's the epitome of democracy. And candidates who spend time talking to their voters and explaining to them what you'll get out of it, that really makes a difference between the good candidates and the bad candidates.
So it's really about understanding the voter, your voter.
Imagine that you're driving down the highway and you see a billboard for a candidate and it has a candidate's name and it says, for the president of Philippines. If you are a voter, you're reading the billboard, what the candidate is telling you is how their life will get better. They will live in the presidential palace, they'll travel the world, they will have a motorcade. You haven't told the voter how their life will get better. And I think that's the key.
Looking back at Netanyahu's 2015 comeback, what tactical decisions most influence that final result?
So the 2015 election for Netanyahu was a very tough one. He started off with a huge deficit. And when we went into focus groups, what we understood was, despite the fact that his right-wing bloc was larger than the left-wing bloc, as a party, he was smaller. And many voters, right-wing voters, were so sure that he was going to win the next election that they felt free to vote for a smaller party within his bloc, and they thought they're getting a package deal. So I vote for a small party that takes care of some kind of niche, and I get the prime minister as a bonus. And we reversed that. What we told people is there is a package deal, but you vote for the prime minister and he takes care of this little niche. And the real trigger was voters had to believe that he was going to lose. And while the prime minister started off when he was at a huge deficit, his instinct and his healthy political instinct is to reinforce, to tell his voters, don't believe the polls, we're stronger, come out, we're going to win, to reinforce. And instead of that, we had him say, I think I'm going to lose. It's very counterintuitive, especially for a politician.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think anyone will say that here in the Philippines.
Correct. And in fact, the prime minister himself, when we suggested this to him, he rejected it. He said, I'm never going to say that. But because we're based on data, we showed him the data. We showed him videos of focus groups. And we showed him empirical numbers where we show, if you say you're going to lose, or that you're afraid you're going to lose, you'll be able to consolidate the right-wing vote into one big party. And so on the crucial night, which was 4 nights before the election, so 96 hours before the elections. I told him, Mr. Prime Minister, it's time to pull the trigger on this strategy. And he said, I don't trust you, but I'll trust your numbers. Prove it to me. Show it to me. And so when we showed him the numbers, he decided to do it. In the last 72 hours of the election campaign, he gave 40 interviews.
40.
40.
Wow.
He didn't sleep. In fact, we gave every TV station, every radio station. 2015, we did a podcast, and no one had heard of podcast in 2015. But every single interviewer opened the interview with, Mr. Prime Minister, it looks like you're going to lose on Tuesday.
Wow.
And his answer was, I'm afraid you might be right. So in those 72 hours, we shifted 11% of the total vote. So we were projected to lose by 5%, and we ended up winning by 6% on the day. The entire shift happened within 72 hours, and they all happened within the right-wing bloc. It's really it's a very important lesson for candidates who are overconfident about winning.